Alright, let's pay tribute to one of our favorite badass video game characters. That's right, we're talking about Kratos. Now, ever since his debut in God of War for the PS2, he has been one of the marks of one of the most epic video game franchises ever, along with having one of the biggest fan bases of all video games. One thing that many people remember from this series are the death scenes. Kratos has some of the greatest and most brutal kills ever, almost lined up to the kills Jason Voorhees has. So today, I'm going to be discussing the top 10 most brutal Kratos moments. And yes, most of these are going to be death scenes. Pretty much all of them. So you know what? Scratch that. Let's make this the top 10 most brutal kills by Kratos. Now before I begin with this, some of these scenes are pretty gory and very bloody. If you're squeamish to either blood or gore, I recommend not watching this. But if you can stand the sight of blood and gore, then all I can say is, go right ahead watching this. Number 10, the death of Hermes from God of War 3. Now, after having to slave through a town trying to kill this guy, you finally get to get your revenge on him. From taunting you, bitch slapping you all over the place. And really, I'm not kidding about the bitch slapping. So, of course, Hermes decides to try to beg for mercy from Kratos, and basically bring up the mistakes that he's done. And basically, due to all his bullshit that he was spreading, then Hermes dies in one of the most ironic ways possible. But also, it's really awesome the way you see it. Now, this guy is also known as Mercury, who is a messenger of the gods, who has super speed. How is it the way he died ironic? Well, just continue watching, and you will see the irony of it all. Smash his face, and cut his leg off. Oh, but Kratos isn't done yet. So Kratos just slowly walks over, pretty much pulls a Jason. And here we go. Oh, what's Kratos gonna do now? And oh, off with the other leg. And that is the death of Hermes. Yeah, you don't fuck with Kratos. Number 9, the death of the Kraken in God of War 2. Now, you all know the Kraken. He's that giant beast like squid that's usually summoned by Poseidon to sink naughty sailors. Normally, most of the time he just sinks the ships and just drags them down into Davy Jones' locker. Now, in this game, you pretty much get to take your rage out on this beast as much as you please. Basically, just hacking and slashing out his tentacles and cutting all of them off. Well, not all of them. You leave at least, I think, like 2 of them unharmed. But then you just pretty much get rid of him as he falls off the platform. And then, as soon as he's hanging for his dear life, you see one of the coolest deaths to the Kraken of all time. Damn! He shoves the bridge down his throat. Holy Jesus. Now, you think that may be a bit cruel for a giant beast like that, but let's remember, this is Kratos. Number 8, the death of Helios from God of War 3. Now, this was already known from the demo of God of War 3, where you would kill Helios. Now, the ironic thing too is, in God of War Chains of Olympus for the PSP, this guy saved Kratos' life, and now he's about to regret it. And now he's trying to tell Kratos how to kill Zeus pretty much, but as usual, Kratos doesn't believe him, because, he's a god. And so, he's about to do something that you got to witness in the demo. And it is awesome. Let's just take a watch. Smack. Finish him. BAM! No matter how many times I see it, I just can't believe it. Not only does he rip off his head, he does it with his bare freaking hands. Oh, and by the way, since Helios is the sun god, when he dies, the sun pretty much vanishes, pretty much representing one of the deadly plagues. Like when Hermes died, a bunch of locusts swarmed the land. Why locusts? I don't know. Number 7 would have to be the death of Hades from God of War 3. Now, of course, since you're gonna kill all the gods, it's no exception, Hades was gonna die. Basically, after stealing his weapon, Kratos then lodges it into his head as you just saw, and now he's gonna rip his soul out. Also kind of an ironic death, especially for Hades. So, Hades is dying, he's suffering, and then basically for his plague, all the harpies and all the spirits in the underworld are going insane. Number 6 is from the first God of War, the battle with the Hydra. Now, for those of you who've seen the Hercules cartoon from Disney, you know what the Hydra is. The Hydra is that giant lizard thing that can, if you cut off its head, 2 more grow back. But Kratos thinks smart because he knows of this. So, instead of having to slice the heads off, he decides to go with a different approach. First, as he gouges the eye, and he starts pulling it in. Bam! Yeah, Kratos isn't stupid. The Hydra thought he could get him, but he's wrong. Number 5 from God of War 3, the death of Poseidon. Yeah, you can tell I like God of War 3. Basically, after destroying the last of his horses, that were pretty much attaching to Gaia like a leech, Poseidon basically becomes weak and pretty much loses his powers. And that's where Kratos decides to make his move. As defenseless Poseidon sits there next to the rocks, he's deciding to try to find his way so he can live, and decides to try to sympathize with Kratos, basically telling him that no matter how many gods he kills, there'll always be another one to stand up against him. But of course, that's not going to stop Kratos at all. So, again with more of the begging, Kratos decides to say, fuck this, you're gonna die. Basically does it in a way it looks so stylish. Basically, the kill is from the perspective of Poseidon, basically seeing everything that he sees. You see Kratos pounding his flesh and everything. Kicking the face, yeah, you see everything. You know, this is kind of the message I kind of find, is that if you mess with Kratos, this is what happens. And you're seeing it all from his perspective. Oh, sun floor, right into the wall. Of course, here comes Kratos. And now Poseidon is gonna try to crawl away. Oh, looks like he's gonna make it. Oh, too late. Here it comes. Gouges the eye out. Aha. Oh, snap. Now, Poseidon's dead, and his plague is that the world gets flooded. Pretty much everything is pretty much, a whole bunch of crap is underwater. A fitting plague for Poseidon. If you thought that was badass, just wait. We haven't even finished this yet. Number 4 would have to be the death of Hercules. Yeah, that's right, you fight Hercules in this game. So basically, after stripping him of all his weapons, Hercules decides to say, that's it, I'm killing you. So he lifts up the platform and hoping to get Kratos to drop down to his death. But he's not going to stop this time, or yet. So Kratos decides to climb himself up and get back onto the surface. That's when he starts punching down the platform on top of Hercules. Now Hercules is starting to lose his strength and start to become defenseless. And this is the series of you just pounding and pounding and pounding him with his own gauntlets. Yeah, this is pretty much what you do. You just keep pounding his face in. Keep pounding until there's no more face left. Yeah, you don't fuck with Kratos.